Today is one of our favorite days of the planting season.
Join us as we plant up our big pots with gorgeous annuals.
Welcome to our garden here in Zone 6A, Upstate New York. It's a very exciting day. We are going to plant the big pots with all of the beautiful summer color that we've been dreaming of since the winter time. So we have 4 big containers here. They're new to us this year. They're the Carema planter in the color Alpine Stone from Campania International. You might remember a couple months ago when they arrived, we had quite a time getting these multi-100-pound containers up the steps onto the terrace.
That was fun though, and I'm still very proud of us.
We are very proud because it started to rain, it was a little slippery, it was daunting, but we did it. So we have 3 of the large and we have the extra large. The extra large we planted up with some spring color, which has been removed, and we had added a fun centerpiece. We'll talk about that in a second. We've also, for the first time, put drip irrigation on these containers. So we're going to have them on their own zone so they can get a daily watering. I'm very excited about that as well. Our containers have slightly different light requirements out here. We have full sun and full sun, but then as Eric is backing up into our covered area, you'll begin to get into the part sun area. And this over here next to our grill is going to be basically full shade. It doesn't really get any direct sun. So we have a little bit of different light requirements to work with, but it allows us to see what plants work, what plants don't. And then additionally, we have our hanging baskets, which we love. Love these hanging baskets. They're beautiful. They have been back ordered for a very long time, so unfortunately we can't help you out finding them because honestly, if anything happens to these, we're gonna be out of luck too.
I mean, we could probably include the link in the description that brings you to the source. It'll say sold out, but maybe that'll be a good starting point for you to find them on your own somewhere
And I
else.
signed up for notifications and I've actually emailed Wayfair a bunch of times to ask them about it. But I guess if I'm on the email list, maybe they'll let us know. So these, again, are gonna be kind of part sun. We actually, since they're on this swiveling hanger, we're able to make sure everything gets the proper amount of sun. And then our last full shade container that we're gonna be handling today is this corner guy that we found at Home Goods a long time ago. Uh-oh, we have Frederick taking a look. Say hi, Mr. Man.
Hi, Frederick.
And we'll be popping in a little texture in here that repeats the colors of the hanging basket. Let's take a look at the plants we're going to choose.
I think it's best we start here with our biggest big pot. This is the extra large Carema, as Christopher said. Planted in the center is a Rise Up Lilac Days rose. And these we had up front in our Urbino planters last season. And they started off so pretty and delicate and then got enormous by the end of the season. So we know that for this season, we have to put it on a true support. So this is the Jardin obelisk?
This is the Essex Plant Support.
Essex Plant Support obelisk from Gardeners. And we've paired it with a Jolly Good clematis. And we really like to pair roses and clematis together because their bloom times are kind of off sync, I suppose, which is a benefit so that you get the rose flowers. And then as the rose flowers fade, you get the clematis blooms and vice versa. So that is going to be the big centerpiece. Stepping down 1 notch is going to be Meteor Shower Verbena. So this is a sterile Verbena bonariensis that will not reseed throughout your garden. We have traditional Verbena bonariensis throughout our garden. We love it and we like it to reseed. But if you live in a warmer climate and you have traditional Verbena bonariensis, it is probably going to take over your garden.
And that's about 30 inches?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't give you any stats. This gets 30 inches tall, is full to part sun, and that's going to be planted behind one of our foliage accents, which I think looks gorgeous with the green and blue tones and the alpine stone.
Obsessed.
This is Plum Dandy Alternifera hybrid, 10 to 16 inches tall, and it's a trailing component.
This is the plant that I've had my eye on for a long time.
Yeah, I think pairing this at the front, something that trails, with something that kind of goes up behind it as a filler is fun. Like, I think it's gonna kind of fill that void. And let's, we'll go my direction. Next is Superbena Pink Cashmere. Full to part sun, 6 to 12 inches tall. Again, another trailer. Big pink discs of flowers.
And that color with the Plum Dandy, gorgeous.
Yes. And then an unexpected choice but I think it's going to work beautiful because of the foliage, color, and shape. This is this is Double Delight Blush Rose, full depart sun, 8 to 14 inches tall. And it's like going to be a nice bulky texture in the container here. And I just like how this contrasts this color and shape-wise. It also contrasts this color and shape-wise, but I love this pairing.
Yeah, a begonia in a full sun container is a fun and bold choice.
And then the last variety we're planting in here is Bluebird Nemesia. Full depart sun, 10 to 12 inches tall and wide. This is a highly fragrant annual, which is why we're planting it up here so we can enjoy the fragrance as we're sitting in these chairs. Same thing with Rise Up Lilac Days, also highly fragrant. And we really wanted to be able to be in this space, enjoy the sun, enjoy the fragrance, enjoy the pollinators, the visitors. We know we're gonna get tons of pollinators on the verbena and the roses. And I think this is going to be a gorgeous combination in this planter. Speaking of highly fragrant, we have heard nothing but amazing things about the fragrance on our next centerpiece. This is El Niño Chitalpa, a new introduction from proven winners that is supposed to be extremely fragrant. It is hardy in zone 6 through 9. We are zone 6A, but this is going to be our centerpiece in our container. We are expecting it that if it survives the winter in the container, it would die back to the soil surface. And it could put on anywhere from 2 to 8 feet of growth this season. We have no idea what to expect, so this is going to be a fun experiment. Blooms on new wood and purple blooms because we're kind of going with a purple and pink theme back here. I'm excited to see how it does. What do you think about it,
I'm really excited about this. It's a very different leaf texture, and I'm loving that we're doing the shrub in container plan as centerpieces. It's a great way to get huge structure without just using, let's be honest, everyone's using purple fountain grass as those centerpieces, and this is way more fun.
And really, I'm looking forward to the fragrance. But again, we don't know how it's going to do, so join us for the experiment is what I say. I think it'll be fun either way. And this is being surrounded by some annuals that we have in this pot over here because we like to repeat things for continuity and visual rest, but we also have some new to us, never before grown things. The first annual that we are adding to this container is Super Bell's Double Twilight. Look at that gorgeous flower color.
It's beautiful. I love the double flower with the kind of bicolor bloom.
I think that the purple of this is going to play off the purple of the Chitalpa bloom. And we're pairing it with another Nemesia, again, highly fragrant, almost like a vanilla scent, I would say.
And actually, I believe the Chitalpa is supposed to be very vanilla-ish, so it might be very vanilla on terrace.
Aromance Pink Nemesia, and I think that this is 10 to 18, and this one is 6 to 12, so more trailing, more upright. I think that's a nice combination. We are repeating the Plum Dandy, but instead of Meteor Shower behind it this time, we are putting Stratosphere Pink Picotee, a much wispier wand flower, right?
Wand flower, Gora.
Yeah, and it'll just kind of play in the breeze. I've already found bees on it this morning as we're waiting to plant it. So I think that's a nice combination as well. One last one, I believe, is the Double Delight Blush Rose Begonia, again, with that gorgeous foliage to contrast there. So that's going to loop around the base of the El Niño Chitalpa.
You're going to think we're crazy. We're putting a Japanese maple in this container as the thriller in our part sun container. This is called Punkil. It's from Isley. What I love about this particular tree is it is so deeply lobed in the leaves that I actually said it looked like velociraptor feet, but it also kind of looks like chicken feet. But you know, science, so I guess that's technically the same thing.
Deeply dissected.
Deeply dissected. I think this is going to be such an awesome filler right here. Cool. It's going to soften this edge of the house. I think you're going to get glimpses of it through this vista over the quickfire hydrangea standard. This is just a really great mix. And we have a Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea here.
And
so
the other thing that's interesting is, you know, we love to do things in threes. So here's a dark foliage. We have our Blood Good Japanese maple there as a dark foliage. And then we have our Weeping Ruby Falls here as a dark foliage. So Now we have a trio of dark foliage.
Just kind of wrapping, and actually 2 dark foliage Japanese maples. Like, who are we? This is the centerpiece I'm very excited about. But what are we planting underneath it? A couple repeats again. We will be repeating the blush rose, the double delight begonia. And because this can take different light levels, we know it's going to be great. This combination, stunning. We'll be repeating the meteor shower verbena behind a foliage accent, but this time we're going to be putting it behind a space age black hole Rex begonia. This plant is so cool. I think after our houseplant journey this past winter, I'm getting a little more into the textural leaves, and this gets 15 to 18 inches tall. So I think it's going to give a really interesting texture, again, up against the deeply dissected lobes.
Yeah, and that's a part shade to shade. And, you know, this is a part sun container, and that part sun and part shade is really not that different.
Not that different. Plus, there's some shady things around here to soften it. And then we have 2 floofs. You know, we love a floof container. We're going to be adding in 2 plants that are actually new for next year. This one is called Superbell's Magic Double Grapefruit. Now, what that makes
Magic
it
double
magic?
grapefruit.
Fold apart sun, 6 to 12 inches. You know, we love a double super belt like we're doing with the double blue over there. This pink grapefruit, honestly, it makes me think of Easter eggs.
Yeah,
when you use
and show it next to the begonia blue.
Yeah, it's like, it looks like when you dip the eggs, the eggs in the pause stuff, it's just got this stamped effect. This combination is insane.
So pretty. And then add in that, oh, we didn't get there yet.
We didn't get there yet. You're rushing me.
Whoops.
Laguna Royale Lilac Lobelia. Now, these have been improved to have more heat tolerance, which is wonderful. This combination of this lilac color, I can't take it. It's so good. I'm so excited. You know, you think of your full sun containers as your big splashy containers, but I think this is going to be in the running for one of our favorites, especially because we have a giant tree in the middle of it. So let's take a look quick at what we're doing in the shade. For the shady container, we're going to be using Miss Kimberly Queen Nephrolepsis fern. Eric found a really nice specimen. We chose this particular fern. I like that it's very upright, similar to like an ostrich fern, but it's a little, I don't want to say messy. That's not the word. It's a little like, she's a little wild. Would you agree, Eric?
I agree, but that's why we're adding in that gorgeous bit of structure right there.
Yes, there'll be a little structure over it. We're going to use the Decor Wow obelisk, our favorite thing in the universe for structure in containers, and let her kind of feel her way through it. I think that's going to give some nice grounding to this container. And then we're only going to use 3 annuals below, all of which we've used before, at least different colors of them. You know, we love a pink Chablis lamium. After they come out of the container, they're going to go in the ground somewhere, and they love to spread themselves out. I think there's a couple places on the berm where we should put this and let it just live its little life. It's such a nice silvery foliage texture, and it does look really good against this container. We're also going to be using Rocapoco Apple Blossom, a soft, beautiful impatient, which we're using the purple one in the pond, our pondless waterfall actually. And last year we used a summer wave large blue Terrenia. This year we're using the large violet. This gives a really nice drapey trail effect, and the nice pop of dark purple up against the 2 softer pinks is going to be nice, fun, right? But we're also going to do the same thing in the hanging basket. I believe these are just traditional Boston fern, right?
Yeah, I just found those at the local garden center, and we'll just pop them out of their little hanging basket.
Same exact annuals. And then, because we actually had 10 of each, we have these 3 containers. We're going to have 1 left. So why not do, in front of this lovely Majesty palm that's going in the corner, we're going to do 1 of each, and that'll tie our shady containers together.
First things first, we have to fill these containers with soil. So because this is a shrub as our centerpiece, we're going to be using Coast of Maine organic and natural Bar Harbor blend potting soil. We've had a lot of success with Coast of Maine potting soil. This will be our 3rd season using it.
Yeah.
I find it to be the best value for the money for the highest quality soil that you can get. Around the edges, we are going to be using something new to us this year we've never used before. This is a new introduction from Coast of Maine. Coast of Maine, organic and natural planting soil for annuals. So it's specifically crafted for flowering and foliage annuals. I'm excited to see that. So long term here at the very base to fill up the pots, and then around the edges for the annuals, we're going to use the annual mix. I'm going to do a little more of this bag of Coast of Maine. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that. Always remember when you're putting soil in a container that you want to put drip in. Put your drip line in first so that you don't have to fish it through. Oh, I should get gloves. If I'm playing in the dirt.
Sure.
My goodness.
I feel like that's enough for that, right?
Yeah, I think that's good because actually I think the Chitalpa is going to sit right on top of this level right here.
Yep. And it'll have some around its roots.
Right, and then that's what it'll send its roots down into.
This is fun. I'm so excited.
I am really excited about the. Oop,
Oh.
there we go.
Not fully rooted in.
Oh, we're gonna have to raise it just a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then of course we do the stare down at the bottom or from the top and make sure it's exactly in the center. To me it is. And
Very pretty.
I believe this grows so fast, I don't think we're gonna need to worry about which is the front and which is the back. Plus we see it from all directions, so I don't think
Well, I
we need
mean,
to worry.
when it arrived just a few weeks ago, it was just sticks. So
I would say, what does this put on? About 7 inches since it's woken up?
I think this is going to be a fun experiment. We might end up pruning it halfway through the season. And now,
I bet you 1 bag of annual mix is perfect.
yeah,
At least for the beginning so that we can place the annuals. I would say this gives the initial impression I have of this soil. The Bar Harbor feels and looks a bit more like a traditional potting soil. It's got the vermiculite look to it. You know it's a potting soil. The annual mix, it's like that black gold. It's a little more, it gives the appearance of a nice deep composty kind of look is my initial impression. Well, hold on. And it smells like beautiful clean soil because I'm a weirdo and I smell the dirt.
which should, in theory, smell like nothing, right?
Yes, it just smells like wonderful clean soil.
Like nature.
And no, it doesn't smell like the coast of Maine, even though it has all the crab shells and lobster shells and all that stuff. It does not smell like you're on the coast of Maine,
Even though it's beautiful.
although it is beautiful.
Okay, so I like to take the annuals out of the containers, place them around, and then fill in between them with soil. So we'll need our soil scoop and another bag of annual mix, and let's get these placed and filled in. Oh,
Continuous release plant
yes,
food.
same wavelength.
I know there's a measurement on there, but how about we just do a nice heavy sprinkle? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We'll do a second round because when it comes to this kind of stuff, Eric is a more is more kind of character. Okay, and now we place, right? Let's do it.
So with Eco Grandes, what I like to do to make sure the annual comes out all in one piece is kind of crack the base of it before I dump it. That's just my little trick. I crack the base, then I dump it out. And these are going
Yep, so
like
we're
that.
stacking the foliage accent that trails with the more vertical plant happiness.
Arrowman's pink. Nemesia.
It is good. Yeah, Bluebird has a nice fragrance, but the Arrowmance smells so good. A couple years ago, we had Arrowmance Mulberry, and it was spectacular.
And it's
Color,
a great color.
really good color.
Superbells have great. You know what? I'm wondering do you think this begonia needs to go between these two floofs, or do you like it next to the alternate Thera?
I think it goes between the two floofs.
I agree. So it's gonna go Nemesia, begonia, Superbells.
Whenever I hear Nemesia, I do really hear amnesia in my head. Maybe it's because when you're near it, you forget everything else and you feel so good. Because it smells so nice, right? You have amnesia.
Yes, it's definitely that.
That's how it got named, of course. And then normally what we do when we're planting is, Eric actually is planting, I'm scooping soil in between into his placement. He's got a very specific way he handles that, and I am on team support.
All right, let's start.
Let's do it. Oh, we have successfully gotten everything planted, and now I'm going to get this situation of drip irrigation taken care of. So we had run this 1/2-inch black supply line all the way through everything very successfully, and it comes up right here on the edge by this super bell. So what I'm going to be doing is ending it with one of these figure 8 numbers. I'm going to do it on the short side down here. Cut that off, and then you slide the figure 8 piece down pretty far. Bend your tube into it, and then it locks right in like so.
It kinks the drip line and holds it in place.
Holds it in place. And then right here, obviously, will be completely covered in all this foliage business. Now, I'm going to be using 1/4-inch drip line. This has emitters every 6 inches. So a nice full coverage kind of drip. So I will use my hole punch thing. I love this tool because it's got the cutter and the punch on the same tool. I'll lift this up here. Probably should have done this before we planted, but we want to do it in steps for you.
Well, we know for the next planter.
We know for the next planter to do this part at least. And then you just push. Sometimes there it was, a little snap happens. That lets you know what's what. Okay, so I have 2 options here. I can run a straight emitter and attach the black poly in and then do my circle, or I can put a T in and that T will connect back into itself. I'm going to go with the straight one so that we can be a little more flexible with where we place it, only because this is the only 3 pots are going to be on this strip situation, so I'm not worried about pressure at all. So I'm just going to push this in here, or not. The 1/4-inch drip is no easier than the 1/2-inch bigger ones. Okay. So then I just pop this into my hole I just made, like so. Little snap happens. Wonderful. And then
I feel like the natural curve makes it want to go to the right.
Yep. So I will gently lay this between the plants. A 6-inch drip spacing is a pretty hefty water dose, which is nice. A little of that. A little of that. Going in between the guara. I like all the different ways I've heard people pronounce gora. I've heard guara. I've heard gora. I always say gara.
I say gara as well.
Bring this all the way around. It's a good thing this isn't such a long piece, because this really tells you which direction it wants to go in. I'll line this all the way in, and I think what I'm going to do is just a tiny bit that is closer to the center plant.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a little extra water towards the middle, and then, does that seem good to you, that
Sure.
amount? That's a lot. And then cut that. And then I reach in here into my bag of tricks to find the goof plug / ender. Okay, got it, my little goof plug. I just pop this into the end. I brought out some landscape staples that I'll tack these down in a couple key spots so it stays nice and close to the plants we want it to. That's the drip, and we'll move on to the next planting.
I think we have to weed this root ball.
It's a good idea probably to weed the root ball before we place it in the pot.
Yep.
I think that would be nice, wouldn't it?
For sure. All right, well, let me crack this open. Again, we're using the potting mix for the tree.
Oh, they're very surfacey. That's good.
Good.
Because keep in mind, this was grown in a big giant field. Oh, the Isley Nursery Fields. That is a dream trip.
Yes, that would be amazing to go visit that. We've been really enjoying their Instagram. And the root is actually much shallower than the container would lead you to believe.
Oh, it's full. And down. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to unstake it for visual aesthetics.
I
we
have the clippers.
I think a lot of times they stake these young trees just for shipping purposes. And I don't mind a whimsical Japanese maple moment.
Agreed.
Oh, there we go.
Success.
Now we just got to decide. Oh, it's not centered in this. It wasn't centered in its pot. So we're going to have to adjust a bit.
From this view. Oh, it's so good. I saw this tree last year and I got real excited about it.
I think it's pretty.
I think it's really
right?
pretty.
Do you think that's the center of the pot?
It's definitely the center of the pot. I do have this sense that we're going to be staking it again, but let's address that in a moment once we get it more planted.
I think we have one more Jardin stake, right?
I think we do.
Let's go grab it. Okay, as much as we didn't want to stake it, we're going to stake it because the root ball is so small and we do get such high winds. So I'm going to take this gorgeous Jardin stake and I'm going to put it in all the way to the base of the pot.
So it's as deep as we can get it in there and really support this tree.
Yeah, but let's reevaluate the angle.
I think we might need to spin it so the stake is more effective.
Oh yeah. Let's go wild and rotate the entire thing.
That is the best placement for the view from walking down the side of the house.
Yeah, this might be it.
This is a product called Farm Yarn. It is basically pantyhose. We use this for our front containers, you may remember, and it was great success so far. It's very elastic, which I think is going to be so helpful for the tree breathing and having a little room so it continues strengthening, but also it does evaporate visually into the tree.
And it's pretty. Not the pantyhose part, the stake. So I think if we stake it here at the top, it looks straight up and down, right? The tree? Well, I mean, it's whimsical.
It is a whimsical tree. Japanese maples are never fully straight up and down. That's just going to give us a much better feeling of, hey, it's windy out.
I think that our wind gets so strong that if we didn't put this stake to the base of the pot, that this root ball would just topple out of the pot.
I agree.
I don't think I need another piece. I have enough on this one.
Oh, you do? Okay,
cut
good.
it and use this again.
Awesome. I'm going to let you do that. We have a visitor out front picking up a few of the seed dahlias, so I'll be back in a few.
All right, I will keep going. I only broke one branch when doing that, so kudos to me. And I'm just doing a gentle figure 8. Nothing wild. Also, you want to make sure that the crown of your Japanese maple is exposed, because you certainly don't want to bury that. You might not see an immediate effect on your tree's health, but it'll start to show after a while, so you don't want that. Now, we can start placing meteor shower verbena again. Pollinators are going to love it. Oh, I can rotate this chair and just stare at it.
Oh, you can just lounge and stare at it? I love that.
I have this fern that I'm going to transplant from this hanging basket to this hanging basket. I took it down and put it on an empty pot right here for stability purposes, brought it out into the nice light. And there's already quite a bit of soil in here, but it is a little bit dry. I wonder if that would actually cut this wire, Christopher, to spare me from having to like undo wire. What do you think? Oh, there we go.
Magic.
So now we can free our ferny friend. Let's see what these roots look like.
Looks like there might be another pot inside a
Oh,
pot.
there is.
Pots inside of pots. Oh, what's that? That's weird.
It's the liner on the base.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't even think they're... It doesn't fit.
It
There
does,
you
it
go.
does.
It fit.
Okay, so
Good
we'll
height.
center that in.
Yeah, really good height.
I love that. And then we just kind of mush the soil that's already in here around it. And now we just have to get our pretty annuals. This is going to be a very packed hanging basket. But it's, you know, at first they were part sun, but now that Winecraft gold smoke bush has gotten so big, I think they
They're
are
a little
definitely shady.
They're a little shadier. One, and you plant it right in the rung, which is so convenient.
Yeah, we might not have, I think there's 8 rungs, so it might not be 9.
All right,
Right?
if that's the case, I say we put one more impatient in because they're going to be more of the up.
Okay.
May I have a Terrenia?
That is the 4th time I've dropped a plant today. Maybe I need to retire.
We got to call HR. Okay.
All these plants are like, please don't let Eric be the one that picks me up. Do you think that's like enough things in that basket?
You know what this is? It's very spa, it's very serene, which is going to be so nice in our area that's under the terrace.
Or do we ignore these spacers and go with our original 333 vision? I think we should.
Ugh, I don't know. Because that would put a Terrenia over here.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Full, lush, lush, lush.
Lush, lush, lush.
So much goodness. Oh. Do not water in your hanging basket until you've hung it.
That's a good position. Good job.
And then the drainage hole on the bottom should line up perfectly with the crossing metal. And that was not it. Not it either. Closer. There we go.
They're gonna be super gorgeous.
And then we can rotate it like this to vary the sun. Everything here is gonna play nicely together. It's gonna be real nice. Really not enough room for 2 people here. This is gonna be a 1-person job. That is a pretty fern.
Look at it, it's growing out of the sides of the
And I just
can.
found it like tucked in the corner of the greenhouse at the garden center. All of our pots are up on pot feet for drainage and to allow the drip to get up under there without getting crushed. So that is that. Hopefully this is somewhat centered.
I did it.
How do the roots look? I'm assuming good.
I mean, they're pretty incredible. And
Getting the obelisk on here is going to be a feat, but I think we can do it.
oh, I forgot we're putting that on.
Yeah. And a late addition to the party. We have this Sweet Caroline Sweetheart Shadow Storm sweet potato vine. We love it. It's a new for 2026. We added one to the pond area. I think we'll just add one to this pot for a little accent up front here. So then we've got this pop of this interesting variegation right here, which I really like.
I think it's good because it doesn't take away from the repetition from the other containers. I think it adds to it.
And it gives us something trailing and we can easily prune it. And this will get that doesn't get full sun. It gets late evening sun. So that I know can handle it. I think before we put the annuals in, to prevent breakage, we should get this placed around the fern first.
This is gonna be something.
I was just picturing us putting this on and all the breakage of baby annuals that I would probably do with my track record today.
How's that? Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
This looks really good.
It's going in. We're almost all the way in. This time it was Eric that had a visitor. So I'm gonna go ahead and start planting, but I'm gonna start with the sweet potato vine because I do think it needs just the tiniest bit of breathing room. I have a feeling Shadow Storm is going to be a big hit when it's released. I'm interested to see the growth habit on this. There we have it. Our containers on the terrace are complete. We have our 2 full sun containers using shrubs as centerpieces, the El Niño Chitalpa, surrounded by this beautiful cluster of annuals, the double twilight superbells, the blush rose begonia.
Double delight, maybe?
Double delight blush rose begonia. The pink picotee gara, the aromance pink nemesia, and the plum dandy alternan thera. In the extra large container, we have the Rise Up Lilac Days with the Jolly Good Clematis on this lovely Essex tower. Again, repeating the blush rose, the alternan thera, but adding in some meteor shower verbena, pink cashmere superbena, and bluebird nemesia. Moving into the part shade with our wild and crazy centerpiece, the Punk Hill Japanese maple. Below that, more of the meteor shower. A new for 2026, lilac, lobelia from the Laguna series. It's improved in all of these good things. The black hole space age begonia, the Superbells magic pink grapefruit, Superbells here. And again, the blush rose.
Every time we did a container, I kept thinking it was my favorite, and they kept getting better.
They kept getting better. This is a lovely, lovely container with this orb on there, with the Kimberly Queen fern, the Rocapoco apple blossom impatiens, pink Chablis lamium, large summer wave, large violet terrenia, and incorporating in the new Shadow Storm sweet potato vine. Inside here, repeating the same plan in the hanging baskets and also here in the corner, which is going to look so good. We have more things to happen in this area. We'll be refreshing some of the decor, some stuff to hang on the walls, which is going to be coming in a later video, but this already feels so serene. I can't wait till we polish it all up and get it ready to enjoy this summer.
Everyone, I'm thrilled with how our big pots came out for the 2025 gardening season.
We're gonna get these watered in and tucked in to enjoy for the rest of the season.
For more information on our garden, please visit growformegardening.com. Make sure you click like and subscribe. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.